From the Fans Talk Podcast family at fanstalkpodcast.com. This is episode 14 of Fans Talk Lucha. Covers Lucha Underground Season 1, episode 24, which aired on April 22nd, 2015. My name is Garvin, and as always, we are here with Mia Sposa.
Hello. Sorry, hola.
Fans Talk Lucha is a podcast series that is brought to you exclusively by our friends who have stepped up and pledged a few dollars our way on Patreon. Head on over to fanstalklucha.com for more about us, how to get involved, and the full archive. Quick thoughts before we start off. Thank you for all the likes on YouTube and SoundCloud. Keep those coming. Very, very happy to see those continue to come in. Thanks also to Diva Jill, Blue Cactur, and DJ Clean Styles and Stony Guerrero for joining us in the comments section on YouTube this week. Another good week of comments from you guys. But I think we confused some of you with our really, really vague and nondescript way of talking about board races.
I thought it was pretty clear.
Yeah, so here's the brief. Whether it's I mean, because we talked about two different things that were very similar. So the board race is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the board race is the teacher asks a question, and then there's two people at a blackboard. They have to race to write the answer on the blackboard and put the chalk down.
Yes.
Okay, first one to put the chalk down wins. Very similar to what I was explaining, which was is more of like the Family Feud style, where you've got a desk bell or a call bell in the middle on a stool, and you've got two people that the teacher asks a question, and you ring the bell and say the answer. So it's competitive learning, really, is what it was.
It's horrible.
But the way I remember it is I don't remember any of the questions or what we were learning or anything like that. I just remember the activity. So probably not that effective. Okay. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about this week's Lucha Underground. What happened this week? Again, this was the final week of the Trios tournament. The Trios tournament for the Trios Championship. We're going to see the final match to see who would win, but we got some special match, or another special match in here. I was kind of surprised that we got so early, but before we get into that, let's talk about the video that started off this week's Lucha Underground. That video was basically the mysterious woman. I still don't think we've been given a name. I know the commenters, like, you guys know who this person is, those who are familiar with her record in the indies and whatnot. I still don't remember what her name is. But anyway, she's the mysterious woman. It's been 8 weeks. She's been training with this guy.
She's totally got Stockholm Syndrome.
I can't remember what his name is. It was like Dragon Azteca or Azteca something Dragon or around that. They didn't say it out loud again, so there goes my memory. And yeah, she thinks that she's ready to fight. But he hadn't put her into a fight yet. But then he puts into her a fight, and it was like her versus maybe 6 other guys in a dark warehouse. It was very like Ninja Turtle style.
It was. She even started the segment journaling.
Yeah. So if you guys remember like Ninja Turtles, where you got one of them in the center and the Foot Clan are like all around her. And they come one at a time, and she took them out.
They wait very patiently.
Yeah. They don't, they don't want to all jump at her at one time because that would make too much sense. So they come one at a time.
I like to think of it as foot teamwork because they want to let everyone get their good kicks in.
Yeah. So, she won. Then he came out and, basically she showed a sign of weakness, which was not taking him out. And, she got defeated. So, and then he said that she was not ready yet.
If some guy kidnapped me, tied me up, threw me in a trunk, and then made me fight, I'm pretty sure I'd take him out. I don't really understand what was going on in this segment.
He obviously had good reasons, and she understands that.
I just don't. She's got Stockholm Syndrome. That's just how I feel about it.
So, Sexy Star versus Pentagon Jr. Wait, hold on. No, it's not that. It's, I mean, you do understand that it's because they're fighting the same evil. He just wants to make sure that she's ready to fight that evil.
He locked her in the trunk. You know what? You sound like one of those women who stays with those guys who treats them like crap. That's what you sound like.
Probably not a good way to start their relationship. I agree.
Sexy Star would not approve of this.
Probably not.
What would Sexy Star do, you guys?
She would fight. And speaking of Sexy Star and fighting, Sexy Star versus Pentagon Jr., we got the match a lot quicker than I thought. I thought we were going to get some more build up. Maybe, build this into a special feature match, but we got it. We got at the top of the show. What did you think about it?
Well, she kicked his ass, obviously.
Obviously. Well, it wasn't just that. I mean, it was actually a very good match. A lot of back and forth. It did seem like he was toying with her a little bit.
It did. But
it wasn't toying with her like you see other, like Angelico, where Angelico is just, he doesn't want to fight her. He just, he wants her to give up easily. We saw the same thing with Big Rick and Sexy Star, but
well, Pentagon's a sadist. That's his character. So obviously he was doing it to give her distress and fear.
Yeah, it was the cat and mouse game where he was just batting her down and letting her get up so that he could knock her down again. Very, very good story overall. Sexy Star won. Were you okay with Sexy Star winning?
Oh, yeah. I'm pleased she won. I really liked watching Melissa sitting there on the sidelines rooting for Sexy Star. Sexy saved her last week.
Yeah.
What I was confused about, though, was when it ended, it just ended. We were sitting around waiting for someone's arm to get broken, and I thought, since Pentagon's failed, maybe he should break his own arm. A real sacrifice to his master. But, he's a pansy, so he just wanders out of the ring. Oh, I'm not going to break my own arm.
Well,
he doesn't seem that dedicated to his religion.
He did pitch a little fit, and then it just went to the break, so we didn't really get to see what else happened. But yeah, it was kind of strange that it just ended, that there was no continuation. I don't know. So I'm sure there will be continuation as we continue to go on for the next couple of weeks, but
maybe him skulking around trying to break her arm in the locker room or something like that.
Yeah, but this can't be the end of it. So hopefully
it was an abrupt ending for what was built up to be a very good match.
Crowd completely into this.
Yes.
And you had that mixture. You had at the beginning it was 50% Sierra Miedo, 60% or 50% Sexy Star, those kind of chants. Very, very cool how loud the crowd was chanting for both of them. But by the end of it, everyone is on their feet for Sexy Star winning. So it's good to see. Backstage, we had an El Patron segment. He interrupted Johnny Mundo doing some weird pull up, push out things with
that was totally rude. He could have dropped that weight on his face. He didn't even offer to spot him.
Well, yeah, I mean he was at like whatever that thing is, the barbell stool thing, but that's not what he was using. He was using it just to hang on, but he had like one of those dumbbell handheld ones.
Regardless, he was doing some kind of chest fly.
Yeah.
It was super
weird.
dangerous.
Yeah, it was weird. But at the end, I thought it was a very good segment to build up the feud between them. Patron basically saying that he came to Lucha Underground because he thought that Johnny Mundo was the face of the company, and while Mundo is good, he still has lost pretty much all of the big matches, which was, it was just like a little back and forth. Mundo threw out the jab about, he's not just some guy that Patron can just slap around.
Which at first I was like, wow, what a classy way to tell Patron not to be a bully. But then you pointed out it was actually a little jab at how he had left WWE.
Yeah, that was a solid
which makes
jab.
way more sense.
I mean, that's how I took it. I thought it was very funny.
He did it with a straight face, which is why I took it so seriously.
So, expect a match between those two very soon. Then the trios match, the trios championship match. It was kind of hard to tell where they were going with this as far as timing goes. This was, I wouldn't even say this was halfway through the show yet. So I almost expected them to do the trios championship. And then there was a lot of talk by the commentating team about the Drago versus Puma match, almost as if that was going to happen tonight as well. So that's kind of what I was expecting, but that's not what we got. But let's talk about what we got. It was Tejano, they call him Cage, and again, that is what she said. I wrote it down this time.
It's so cumbersome.
They call him Cage and Cuerno versus Son of Havoc, Ivelisse, and Angelico versus the family. So overall, what do you think?
I had a hard time watching this. It was too many people in the ring at one
Chaotic.
time for most of it. Yeah. I mean, there were great moves when there was a little more room in the ring. There was a lot of flying. There was good wrestling going on, but personally I have a hard time following that sort of thing And so I was a little distracted up until the very end of it.
You know, it was strange for me because we were giving it a new rule that I don't think we've ever gotten in like a tag team match or like a multiple tag team match before, and that was, at least as far as my memory goes, but that was the fact that you could only tag in another member of your team. So usually when there's like 3 or 4 different teams, other teams are tagging themselves in, but it was like there was always 3 people in the ring, and you could only tag in one of your partners. So to me, it was kind of strange that they would state that, knowing that that's not what we got anyways. There was still multiple people in for, like Cuerno was in for most of the match, even though he was never legal, just because like he didn't tag himself in. There was always like a double team with him.
I think Ivelisse even popped in illegally once or twice.
Yeah. So it was a bit chaotic. You never really knew who was the legal guy. There were pinfall attempts on guys that were not legal. So it was really strange. But overall, I thought the first part of the match wasn't as good as I was expecting and hoping for, at least to tell the story.
I'd agree with that.
But
especially since the lead up to it was so good last week.
Yeah, and the first match. Oh, I'm sorry. This was also when, like, right before the first elimination, we got the outside interference by Daivari, except for, like, we know him as Daivari. Well, you don't. But
is that what was going on?
Well, that's his name. But it's like it was that guy that we've been seeing in the crowd the last 2 episodes.
The weird guy with the aviators.
Yeah, and so there was some action outside of the ring, and someone ran into him spilling his drink, and I think it was Tejano. Tejano got pushed into him, maybe spilled the drink all over Daivari, or how we're stating it on the show. This guy in the crowd, and the guy in the crowd basically attacked Tejano. No one stopped him. Security didn't get involved. It was really odd, just because commentary mentioned it as well. And that's what caused Tejano to get eliminated. He got pinned because of that, because of the outside interference. But then this quote-unquote guy in the crowd went into the backstage. Like anyone can just walk into the backstage. It was really weird.
It's odd because some episodes they'll suddenly have random security everywhere. And some episodes you're like, what? This is a very dangerous building.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because
everyone's doing whatever they want.
The way commentary is building it up is it's just this guy in the crowd, a fan, and then the fan is just attacking this guy. He's ripping off his t-shirt, and like the crowd is like chanting for him. And he's just a regular.
And the thing is, there's so much fan and wrestler interaction. Yeah. Anyway, in Lucha Underground, someone like me who doesn't know who this person is, I would just think, wow, that guy's really into Lucha Underground.
Yeah, so
I wouldn't have thought it, and I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, that's really bizarre.
Yeah, so the wife doesn't know who this guy is. We know who this guy is, but it's just weird how they're presenting him in the commentary and how that story is being told. So hopefully that gets fixed, that gets resolved as we move forward. Like, why wasn't security called out? Maybe Cueto put him in the crowd there. I think that part of the story needs to be told soon. But anyways, yeah, the favorite, my favorite at least, Tejano, Cuerno, and they call him Cage. They were the first to be eliminated. Then we had the family versus Son of Havoc, Ivelisse, and Angelico, and big surprise, the family lost.
Yeah, neither of us saw this coming last week. We thought for sure the comedy option team was not going to win.
Crazy. And what was even crazier was that majority of the match was something that we were normally, well, at least me, I was normally complaining about how Angelico's matches have gone in the past, where he's not like the favorite, where he's just getting beat up and he looks like the weakest guy, and he just got beat up that entire match, but somehow was able to pull out the win. Son of Havoc really wasn't involved in a majority of that part of the match. Ivelisse looked like she was legit hurt. It was kind of hard to tell.
It was hard to tell. It seemed maybe like she was a little hurt. Not hurt enough to leave the ring, but hurt enough that she wasn't doing the standard of wrestling that she usually does at all. She was definitely holding it back.
So you would think at this point we'd be talking about how Son of Havoc, Ivelisse, and Angelico were the new Trios champions, but nope.
Surprise!
Cueto comes out and is like, hey,
He looks just as dumbfounded as we do at this point.
Totally surprised. You guys did a phenomenal job, but this isn't the end of the match. There's another team involved in this tournament.
Dun, dun, dun.
And that was the crew. And I wasn't necessarily surprised that the crew got involved. I thought that they were going to be involved in the beginning, so I was kind of surprised that they weren't there.
My response was, oh, God, the crew. I hate the crew.
Yeah. So the crew came out. We could talk in depth about this match, but it was pretty boring, pretty lame in that they were just beating up on the team that had no energy to begin with. But at the end of the day, Son of Havoc and Angelico were able to hit consecutive, or not consecutive, but simultaneous top rope moves to get the win. I think really the moment of the match, the moment that really got the crowd into both, I'm sorry, not just both of these, I'm sorry, not this team. No, I guess this team. It was, let me think
he doesn't
about how
know
I
what
wanna
he
phrase
means.
This. This was when the crowd really got behind Angelico, Son of Havoc, and Evilise. I mean, there was we'd rather them be the champions than the crew. The crew seems to be the obvious guys that were going to get the win, but the fact that Angelico jumped from atop Cueto's office into the ring, took out two guys.
He took a flying leap. He ran across the office, did a swan dive into the ring. One of them, I can't tell the crew apart, honestly. He was beaten up on Evilise, who we're not sure if she's really injured or not, but at least for the purposes of this match, she was pretty injured. Saved the day. It was amazing. It looked like the kind of move that you would only do if you were crazy drunk.
Yeah, and it was so cool.
I don't know how no one got hurt doing that.
It was so cool how they filmed it because, most of the time when you're looking at like a WWE show or a TNA show and there's a big spot coming, there's like a lot of time where the camera is on the guy as he's preparing his mind to do this spot, as he's like getting into that groove about what he's about to do. This, you didn't get that.
I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I saw him running.
He just started running and flew through the air. It was crazy.
It was possibly the coolest wrestling move I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. So
it was exciting.
So, huge crowd pop. These guys win. It's Evilise, Son of Havoc, Angelico, your trios champions. Are you okay with these guys being your champions?
I am, after seeing them defeat 3 other 3-person teams.
Yeah.
And I liked at the end, they all came together, which, obviously was the point, but they did a very awkward, kind of hilarious group hug, and it seemed genuine. It didn't seem staged. They were tired people. That was a good effort from all of them. They were in that the whole time. It was most of the episode.
Yeah, you did have that awkward bro hug where Son of Havoc and Angelico hugged, but then realized that they don't like each other.
They had Evilise in a headlock because she couldn't put any weight on her feet, so...
It was just a really good moment. The crowd was totally into it. Lots of this was awesome chants. Win of the week. What was your favorite moment this
week? It was Angelico. It was that flying leap off the office.
Yeah. I'm definitely with you there. I thought that was a great moment. Just because there really wasn't a whole lot of other big moments this episode. I mean, Sexy Star winning, yeah. But my issue with Sexy Star win was that it just felt so weird. Like, it felt like that was abrupt. I wanted more.
I think it was the spot.
Yeah.
I think that if they had saved it, maybe did it next week and made that the main event, it would have been more satisfying.
Yeah, it's another one of those things where it was very good for the story. But, you look at what we saw with Drago and Aerostar when I think it was like their second match, and it was so awesome. But it was just, that's not what your focus was on. Your focus was on the other stuff happening on the show. So, but yeah, Angelico winning. I'm sorry, Angelico with the suicide dive basically off of Cueto's office was fantastic. Also, Evilise, your first Lucha Underground Women's Champion. So keep that in mind. That's pretty historic, regardless of how long Lucha Underground stays in business. Anytime you've got an opportunity like this where it's just surprising to me, considering like where the women have fallen into like these tournaments and whatnot. And just, I don't know. I think overall it's a good moment. It's a good moment to show that, she can hang with the guys.
I think it's deserved. She obviously, whether it was storylined or not, was not able to wrestle up to her own standard this week. But overall, what we've seen of her, she's a great wrestler. So I don't think that this was, I think this was well deserved.
Yeah. Fail. What was your fail of the week?
This is going to sound weird, but my fail is the costuming. So bear with me. First match, Sexy Star, Pentagon Jr. Sexy Star is wearing her skirt, half top kind of combo. Under the skirt, ladies, we usually wear something, they call them spankies in cheerleading world. It's an underpant. Hers were pretty much the color of her own flesh. It was a little distracting because the first move she had where she jumped off the ring, I thought, oh, she's naked. Oh no, that is so not sanitary. So that wasn't great. Killshot. His name is Killshot, but he's wearing a target on his own face.
Right?
I mean, I get it, but your own face? No. And then, Angelico, I love his jeggings, but they ripped right up to the crotch in that last match. Rightly so. He was doing a lot of moves, but costuming people, really.
Well, yeah, you can't blame Angelico. I mean, that match was pretty brutal.
Reinforce those pants in the thighs. Yeah. I mean, most of us know that the thigh is where you get a lot of your chafing. It's it's part of the show overall.
Looking at him though, I don't think he's rubbing.
No,
I don't think his legs are rubbing. My fail is going to go to the band. I really despise this band.
You despise it.
Yeah.
The 20 seconds you've heard of it.
No,
Inspired hate.
We've heard this band like 4 episodes in a row, and I'm done with them. I want to
80 seconds you've heard of this band.
Yeah, they're terrible. It feels like they're just playing the same song every time. So screw this band. Get the other bands back. El Bronx and the Dita one, whatever
you
her
don't
name
even
was.
know her name, but you like her band better.
All right, so next week we don't really have anything lined up. I think we'll probably get your Puma versus Drago championship match. Maybe you might get a little bit more Sexy Star versus Pentagon Jr.
Ooh.
Maybe we'll get Mundo versus El Patron. I don't know.
I don't have an emotional noise for that one.
I don't know either. Yeah. So, final thoughts?
I like Evilise a lot better when she's not talking.
Well, technically, though, she was talking this entire match. Like when the first part of the match was happening, and she wanted to tag in. Like she was just yelling for that tag.
Yeah, but there was so much going on. I was able to ignore her the way I ignore a baby.
Yeah, and the spot that I think it happened, I think it was the only thing that she did in this match up to that point, which was she just did like a dive off of the top rope. She just probably landed awkwardly. So, but it was hard to tell. Like I don't even think we really saw the landing. I don't know. Doesn't sound familiar to me, to my memory. My final thoughts. I don't really have one, but this is a fun weekly conversation. We're getting a lot of great feedback from you. So keep that coming. Glad to be watching Lucha Underground with you guys. It's fun. For more about us, you can check out fanstalklucha.com. Also, please consider dropping a few pesos our way on Patreon. It's the most direct way that you can support this series as well as all of the other series that you can find on fanstalkpodcast.com. So let's keep the conversation going. You can reach us on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, YouTube, as well as the comments on the site. All of that information is on fanstalklucha.com. Leave a rating and review if you listen on iTunes, Stitcher, or any other place that allows you to do that. If you're on YouTube, leave a like. That's always appreciated. But yeah, help us reach to the top of the podcast ladder by spreading the word. Let people know that this is where they should be talking Lucha Underground. Adios.
Does Patreon actually accept pesos? Because I think we should just encourage people to give actual dollars.
I think they can drop pesos if they are in Mexico and that's all they have, Patreon will do the conversion. When I say a few pesos, though, I mean at least $1's worth of pesos.
So not only do you have to pay in pesos, but you have to know how to do a conversion in your head.
Do that conversion and make sure you drop it enough that equals out to be at least $1.
Wow.
Yeah. Google that.